Netanyahu lies. This is a human reality where real human flesh and blood is being torn to pieces. This, again, I say this has to stop. The occupation has to end. The siege of Gaza has to end. Israel's impunity has to end.
All right, we'll leave it there for now. Thank you so much, Hanan Ashrawi. I believe we are now joined by Mark Regev. He's the spokesman for Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. Good to have you with us. So can you first of all explain, why was Al-Aqsa Hospital hit?
I can tell you that since this operation has started, there have been numerous examples of the terrorists using hospitals, schools, other civilian infrastructure, even humanitarian infrastructure, to conduct their activities, for their command and control, to shoot their rockets into Israel. And we're always as surgical as we can be, but we cannot allow them to shoot at us with impunity. Now, we don't target humanitarian infrastructure. We do target terrorists who are trying to kill our people.
Are you saying that this Al-Aqsa hospital, you have information that this was being used for military means and purposes, and that was what's going on?
I have no doubt that Hamas has used and continues to use medical facilities, including hospitals.
So with all due respect, sir, I'm asking you specifically about Al-Aqsa Hospital. Are you telling me this hospital was a center for armed activity? Yes or no?
I'll ask specifically my military, and I'll get back to you straight away with an answer. I'm not aware of this particular situation, but if you'll allow me to finish the sentence. We know specifically that during the last round of fighting a year and a half ago, that the Hamas leadership, the senior Hamas leadership, was in a bunker under the Shifa hospital in central Gaza. Journalists in Gaza today have reported, and this is public information, that that is the situation today, that underneath the Shifa hospital in Gaza, that's Gaza's main hospital, Hamas has established its main command and control. Now, you've had Al Jazeera cameras outside that hospital. Why don't you go downstairs and have a look if they'll let you?
Now, so you're telling me, the answer to my question was, you don't know what was going on in this hospital, and yet you are sure...
That's not what I said.
I'll ask you the question.
I am sure that Hamas...
I will ask you the question then a third time. Are you telling me this hospital, Al-Aqsa Hospital, which we have pictures of it being hit, or at least pictures of civilians being wounded there, that this hospital was in fact some sort of Palestinian factional operational theatre?
I answered the question. I'm happy to do so again. There is a clear pattern of behavior that has been documented and reported.
I'm not asking about the pattern. I'm asking you about this hospital, sir.
I answered that question. I'll repeat my answer if you want me to, sir.
I didn't get an answer. Is this... Why did you hit this hospital? It's very simple.
I'll say it again. I'm saying if I'll get you a specific answer. I repeat what I said. I'll get you a specific answer from the IDF. I know that Hamas has used
you don't know at this
and
point.
Continue to use hospitals.
You'll look for an answer from the IDF.
I'll get you that answer as soon as I can.
All right.
If you will, sir, if you would have sent me the question before, I would be happy to tell you we do not target civilians. That's clear. Can I say something? You interrupted Hanan Ashrawi once in the entire interview. You've already interrupted me 5, 6 times. Do Israelis get special treatment, Sammy?
I'm giving you the treatment, sir, I would give to anybody who has to answer for an event of this magnitude playing out on the screen, sir.
But surely, sir, Hamas has to answer, because you didn't dispute what I said when I said Hamas uses civilian infrastructure, including hospitals, for its war machine. You did not dispute that. And you let Professor Ashrawi say that Hamas does not use human shields, that that's racism, she said. But this has been widely reported, even the United Nations itself, and you didn't interrupt her. The United Nations reported 2 days ago that Hamas was storing missiles in one of its UN schools, and you didn't interrupt her when she says, no, we don't use human shields. You didn't interrupt her to say that President Abbas, the president of the Palestinian Authority, has condemned Hamas for not accepting the ceasefire, for rejecting the Egyptian proposed Arab League-backed ceasefire. You didn't interrupt her. You didn't ask her that question. Do Israelis get special treatment with you, Sammy?
I did interrupt her. I suggest you go back and listen to the interview where I interrupted her and asked her whether or not Palestinian factions should bear any responsibility. Coming back to what this interview should be about, which is not me, but about what's going on at Al-Aqsa Hospital, it's not really about what we are reporting or what we are here to say. It is about what human rights organizations are saying. Let me quote you a report by Human Rights Watch of July the 16th, which says Israeli air attacks in Gaza investigated, I repeat, investigated by Human Rights Watch, not Al Jazeera, not Sami from Al Jazeera, have been targeting apparent civilian structures and killing civilians in violation of the laws of war. Have they got it wrong as well? And are they failing to ask the right questions?
No, they are correct, but their interpretation is wrong. In a combat situation, you cannot target civilian infrastructure. If, however, civilian infrastructure is being used by the war machine of the other side, it becomes a legal target. Sami, if there's a bridge that's for civilian use, you can't target it. If the other side is moving its forces across the bridge, then according to international law, that then becomes a target. If Hamas is storing rockets in civilian areas and shooting rockets at us, we can surgically, according to international law, take out those rockets. What is the alternative? To allow them to shoot at us with impunity? Surely you wouldn't suggest that Israel sit back quietly as thousands of rockets are fired on our people.
Okay, I'm very glad. You seem to be heading in a direction to give us some clarification. Would you apply that to a hospital? If Israeli forces think that there is some military activity in a hospital, are you telling me you believe under international law you have the right, as you put it, to surgically hit a hospital? Please, just a yes or no, very clear answer to that one.
I'll give you a very clear answer. I said in the whole previous round with Gaza, we knew the Hamas leadership was under the Shifa hospital, and we never hit the hospital. That's the truth. Because we won't intentionally hit civilians, and that, unfortunately, you could say it's a weakness, because we refuse to hit that sort of target, and therefore that's exactly why Hamas was under there.
So why was this hospital hit?
Is if we can surgically hit targets, if we can limit to a minimum the possibility of
Mr. Regev, how do you surgically hit a hospital?
No, once again, we didn't hit a hospital where we couldn't avoid it. But if you see a spot on a
hospital has been hit, though. Al-Aqsa Hospital
into Israel, but once again, sir, if a target is being used, a civilian target is being brutalized by the enemy and turned into a military zone, I mean, you could have attacked me, to be fair, for attacking a UN school, and you said you violated UN property. But the Hamas had missiles there. I mean, surely you understand the logic of my argument. You are allowed to hit targets where their military machine is using that as part of their war effort.
And surely you understand my very simple question. Do you apply that to a hospital full of patients? Yes or no? Do you believe you have the right to hit a hospital like Al-Aqsa? Yes or no?
Once again, the example of Shifa Hospital, we refused, unfortunately, even though we knew the entire Hamas leadership, and they should be condemned for it. I hope you agree with me. They should be condemned. Oh, you only want to talk about the example. Oh, right, that's enough.
I want to talk about the example that is unfolding on our screen, sir. Definitely. I do want to talk about the three hospitals that have been hit and which we're receiving pictures about.
I'll ask you a question.
An example you do not want to talk about.
If your cameramen... No, I'm happy to talk about that. If your Al Jazeera cameramen can take pictures of Hamas rockets coming from a hospital, I'd be happy to answer your question, but they're not allowed to take pictures like that because they know if they take pictures of rockets being fired from civilian areas, they'll get into trouble with the local authorities. And that's the truth. Why is it that 2,000 rockets have been fired on Israel and you haven't got a single picture of a rocket being fired from an urban area?
We'll have to leave it there. Thanks so much, Mark Regev, spokesperson for the Israeli Prime Minister. All right, now I believe we have with us Dr. Hassan Khalaf, who is the director of Shifa Hospital and is Gaza's deputy health minister. Joins us now on the line. Can you tell us the situation at Al-Aqsa Hospital?